Hey there, comic book fans. Here we are back with another week's pull list. I thought it was only going to be a 6 comic pull week, but it turned out to be a 9 comic week. There's a few surprises on my pull list this week. I didn't even pull anything off the shelves, I think. The first surprise was this Tales from the Con, which I ordered, but it wasn't on. Every week I get an email from my comic shop telling me what's on my pull list this week. And for some reason this wasn't on that list of things coming in this week, so maybe it was supposed to be out earlier and was back ordered. That happens sometimes. But I never saw it on the list. But anyway, here's Tales from the Con Year 2. This is the one that my buddy Chris Giarusso draws, and who writes it? Brad Geiger. And these are comic strips that appeared on the Emerald City Comic Con webpage. So you can actually go to the Emerald City Comic Con webpage and read all of these strips for free if you want, or buy the printed version, as I did, if you can find it. I'm sure there's not a million of these published anywhere. But Tales of the Con, nice collection of strips, nice surprise in my pull list this week. Rated E for everyone. I just noticed that. But good stuff. The next surprise on my pull list was The Dying and the Dead #2. I didn't think I ordered this. I must have, or I picked it up anyway. The first issue I just found, it wasn't bad or anything, I just found there was too little story in it for a double-sized issue. The artwork's nice, the writing's fine, there was just too little story in it. But, you know, second issue was in my pull list. I just checked the third. The third isn't, but I was like, you know what, I'll try the second issue. Why the heck not? It's there, so I bought it, even though I don't think I put it on my pull list. Strange. It's a strange world sometimes, isn't it? Mr. X, #2 of 4. This was the third one that wasn't on my email, in the email that said it was on my pull list, probably because the whole series took me by surprise. When the first issue came out, I don't know, a month ago, I just picked it up off the stands and then told them to put it on my pull list, so maybe they had to back order it, because it was, as often you have to put the second issue on your pull list before the first issue comes out. That not always, but sometimes. So maybe this one they had a back order for me. That's why it didn't show up on my email. But either way, Mr. X, Dean Motter. This is usually an automatic buy for me. I've been enjoying Mr. X since the early mid-'80s, whenever that was. Dean Motter was always kind of the designer behind Mr. X, but he didn't always draw or write it. There was other people who did that, including the Hernandez brothers and Seth, Gregory Gallant, and I think some other, I can't even remember who else. But it's always just kind of been a fun book I enjoy, so I'll keep picking this one up. And next we have X-O Manowar #35, one of the 2 Valiant books left on my list, my pull list. Dead Hand #2. They started another big story arc with some big galaxy conquering people coming to get our buddy X-O here, and I said I generally enjoy this one. I get this and since the Valiant miniseries, which I enjoyed, just stopped. I get this and Imperium regularly. I liked Ninjak #1. I just didn't like it $3.99. You know what? If these Valiant books were $2.99, I'd get more of them. Whoops! Just knocked my camera, but they're $3.99, and that's just, you know, indie books should be $3.99. Books where a Chinese company just gave you $1 billion to make movies shouldn't be $3.99. Other than that, I enjoy most Valiant books. They're pretty good stuff. And next is Tech Jacket #9. Last we left Tech Jacket, he was in the middle of some big intergalactic war with other people. Tech Jacket's a solid little superhero series. It's not one of my favorites, but It's $2.99 and I'm enjoying it. So I'll keep buying Tech Jacket. It's just the story of this guy who's got some alien armor. Imagine that, kind of like Exo. He's got alien armor. Everybody's got alien armor these days. But now he's in the middle of an intergalactic war too. If it sounds familiar, it's because it is familiar. There's nothing exactly groundbreaking about Tech Jacket, but it's a solidly drawn, solidly written book. I'm enjoying it. So if you want some nice superhero action, this is it. And then comes Jason Aaron and Jason Latour's Southern Bastards. I think, are they doing these in 4-issue story arcs? I think the first one. If so, then they're wrapping up the Coach as a young boy story arc. Coach, what is his name? Coach Boss, who was the villain in the first story arc and is now, well, you might call him the anti-hero of the second story arc, because they flash back to when Coach was a picked upon high school student and his father was an SOB who everybody hated, and he was mixing with other SOBs who everybody hated, so I guess he turned into an SOB himself. But anyway, you cut it. Southern Bastards is a good comic. You should check this one out. Then we've got the Rat God 3 of 5. More Richard Corbin goodness. Look at that creepy cover. Ooh. I don't know how to describe this one. Creepy Richard Corbin, this rather stuck-up guy, wanders into this town, which has all sorts of creepy things going on in it. And I'm sure it's just going to get more and more weird and creepy. But Richard Corbin is a master storyteller. He just, any story he wants to tell, I'm ready for. Richard Corbin is on my must-buy list. Anything he does, I pick up. And Rat God's been fun. I enjoyed the first 2 issues a whole lot. I'm sure I'll like this third one. Here we go with Egos, number 7, by Stuart Moore and Gus Storms. This book was gone for a little while. Now it's been back for, I think, the last 3 issues, and I've very much enjoyed them. I've liked this better than the first story arc. It was kind of the first story arc was sort of a Legion of Superheroes takeoff somehow, way in the future, guy getting a superhero team together. And now they're a little bit cynical superhero team, nice artwork. But now there's kind of some more espionage, spy stuff going on. They're on some planet in a forgotten war trying to stop some economy from collapsing. But I'm very much enjoying this relaunched Egos. The art's good, the story's good. I'm even liking these covers that do nothing more than show off a character. But, you know, the characters are quite imaginative, like this guy with his weird arms and face and cane. Either way, check out Ego sometimes. I think the first one is in a trade. If you don't like the first trade, wait for the second trade. I would imagine the first trade and the second trade are different enough from each other that you can read the second trade without ever having read the first. But either way, I'm enjoying this thoroughly. Good stuff. And finally, we have No Mercy number 1 by Alex DeCampi, Carla Speed McNeil, and Jen Manley Lee. Manley. That's a odd name, Manley. But I guess there's a Mike Manley too, isn't there? It was Carla Speed McNeil who sold me this book. I'm actually disappointed she's not writing it. She wrote and drew one of my favorite books of all time, Finder. I actually did a video on Finder. I'll have to link to it. I don't even know what the story is here. I just saw Carla Speed McNeil's name on it, and it automatically goes on my pull list. I recently saw Comic Book Resources or something do a poll on best female artist or writer in comics, and Carla Speed McNeil would win both of those titles with me. I didn't actually look at the list since I have I don't know, lists annoy me generally. But like I said, her Finder is one of my favorite books of all time. So I'm going to buy her No Mercy, sight unseen, and I'm sure it'll be good because Carlos Speed McNeil has drawn it. All right, so there were my 9 comics for this week. What did you get?